My name is Deborah Beidel. I am the Executive Director of UCF Restores, which is at the University of Central Florida. I am also a trustee chair and Pegasus Professor of Psychology and Medical Education at the University of Central Florida. My co-editors on this project are Clint Bowers, who is also a Pegasus Professor of Psychology at the University of Central Florida, and Madeline Marks, who was a graduate student at the University of Central Florida and soon will be a clinical assistant professor at the University of Maryland Medical School in Baltimore. In 2016, my colleagues and I were doing peer support training with first responders, primarily fire department, but also law enforcement. On June 12, 2016, the Pulse nightclub shooting happened. That morning, we got a request from the fire department, actually a phone call at 9 o'clock in the morning saying, "We need you down here right now." At that time, we started to do work in the treatment of first responders, not just in peer support training. Starting to do treatment and talking to first responders about the traumas they experienced and the different types of traumas that occurred to them on an almost daily basis really opened our eyes. And we realized that although many people talked about post-traumatic stress disorder in veterans, very few were talking about them in terms of our first responders. One of the things we found out was that every year, more first responders die by suicide than in the line of duty. That means more police officers die by suicide than are killed at the hands of a felon. The scope of trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder in first responders is great, and no one was really pulling together the literature about what we knew about it in order to help others. So we thought this book would be a good opportunity to put together not only things about peer support, but also things about treatment and functioning among our first responders as these heroes deal with traumatic events every single day on the job. The mission of the book was really to collect the information that was available, but also to help generate future ideas and future research projects that we might do to assist first responders and emergency personnel, both in understanding the types of reactions that they have to trauma, and also what are the best treatment strategies that we might use with them. One of the things that we found after working with individuals from the Pulse nightclub shooting and also from the Parkland shooting was that many first responders would call us and would say, "My therapist just fired me because she is being more traumatized by what I'm saying than she is able to help me with my traumas." That helped us understand that one of the real challenges is that therapists often don't know the types of traumas that first responders experience. They feel that they've had some work with trauma, but very few have really worked with first responders. And that being the case, it becomes much more difficult to be able to help someone if you don't understand the culture, you don't understand what they go through as they go about their jobs. So we thought this book would be a great resource for clinicians in order to be better at providing services for first responders. We also hope that the book would be better for researchers because we know that understanding the clinical presentation, as we call it, or the way people are feeling and how they experience stress is the best way to develop new treatments. So we thought that by putting this book together, by having some people who were more clinically oriented and some people who were more research oriented, that we could generate new research to help this group of first responders. We're interested not only in fire and in police, but also in emergency dispatchers. Often people forget that they are often the first responder. So we have a chapter in the book that is dedicated specifically to telecommunicators, as they're sometimes called, emergency dispatchers, because they sit in a unique position. They never see the end of these traumatic events. They're on the phone with someone until the other first responders show up and then they go to another call. So their reactions to trauma are slightly different, and we felt that they really deserve some attention to their unique perspective on trauma. One of the chapters in the book is really dedicated at administrators. And one of our hopes is that even though they're not researchers working with first responders or they're not clinicians, that administrators, city officials, city managers, maybe even police chief, fire chief, will take a look at this book and will read it and understand the role that they have. One of the challenges for first responders reaching out for help is that they're worried about what it will do to their job status. I can't tell you the number of times we've talked to law enforcement and they say, if I ask for help, I'm going to lose my gun. If I lose my gun, I'm never going to get it back. I'm not going to have my job. I'm not going to take that chance. Fire personnel will often feel the same way. If I reach out for help, they're going to put me on the desk. I'm not going to be on the truck anymore. I'm not going to be making the decisions. So what we really wanted to do, and why we've devoted one chapter specifically to this, is that we want the people at the top, as my fire chief consultant calls it, the ones who wear the white shirts, to understand that getting help for your people is the best thing you can do. It's expensive to train first responders. It's even more expensive to lose them. And a chapter on how administration can help their people get to treatment, get better, and come back to the job at full strength was an important chapter that we felt had to be in there and speaks to a group that we don't often think about when we write this kind of textbook. One of the things that's new in the field and that we highlight in some of the chapters is the use of technology in treatment and research. So for example, the use of virtual reality to do what we call exposure treatment and help make treatments even more effective is something that we focus on, and we want to encourage others to start to think about these things. There are also chapters that focus on using some apps that are available. We want to have people understand that just because there's an app in the App Store doesn't necessarily make it appropriate or relevant for a specific population. So helping people understand where the gaps are in the literature, where are the things that we can develop, where can we go from here, is really a critical part of what we're trying to get the message out when we do this particular book. I'm thinking now in terms of COVID-19 and the fact that a lot of our treatments have had to flip and go to telehealth. Not something that a lot of people were doing anymore, but now we can talk about how to go about, again, using technology to get the services out to the people who really need them. Where we work at UCF Restores, we're very proud of our affiliations with first responder groups. So for example, we are the mental health partner for the Florida Firefighters Safety and Health Collaborative. A number of authors who are in the book are members of that association and have been helpful in providing those kind of services to us. We're proud of the organization and we're proud of our relationship with them, that we can help push forward the need for working with people with trauma. Another important relationship that we have is with the National Police Foundation, and specifically their Center for Mass Violence Response Studies. I'm proud to be a member of that board of directors and to have people from that organization, such as Frank Straub, become an integral part of UCF Restores. Finally, UCF Restores has just been named as the Center of Excellence for First Responder Behavioral Health. What that means is going forward, we're going to keep pushing the envelope both on the clinic and the research side to provide the very best care for first responders. There are lots and lots of places who work with veterans. As a matter of fact, one thing we say quite often at UCF Restores is that there is no VA for first responders. Despite the fact that the traumatic events that occurs frequently among first responders as veterans, there's no national centralized place for first responders. UCF Restores is proud that we can now be that center of excellence and drive the treatment and also the training of therapists for first responders. We feel the book was a very important first step to call attention to the issue. Now we hope to collaborate with partners across the country and even internationally to keep this body of research moving forward and provide the best support we can for those people who are there to keep us safe every single day.
Suitable for use in your course syllabus and as an integral resource for research advancements within your department, this publication should be included within your institution's library along with these related publications.
Offered in print, ebook, and print plus ebook, and as a part of IGI Global's ebook collection, this publication is available through IGI Global's online bookstore, as well as many other major booksellers and platforms, including EBSCOhost, Gobi, ProQuest, and Oasis. Purchase or recommend this title to your library today.